Where did your club make its greatest strides, Brendan, when you look back on it? Organization, perhaps, better question.
Well, I just think that the buy-in from the players that occurred right from the first time they got together and got on the ice, and Mike is a coach that challenges you every single day, and Lou is a general manager that also has very high standards. So I think that the guys, you never really know if everyone's going to buy in and if everybody can keep up, but the players, especially the ones that we had hoped would really dig in and go to work, did.
Now you're faced with the prospect of the potential of getting a very high draft pick, maybe first overall, as low as fourth. Does that lessen the blow today, or is there excitement there?
Well, I think there's excitement around every draft, especially if you're a team that, we have 2 picks in the first round, 2 in the second, 2 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. So obviously, just with the moves we've made to acquire those picks, the draft is something that we're really focusing on. To have a high pick certainly is exciting to us, our fans, and most of all our scouts, who put in a lot of time and a lot of miles throughout the hockey season, so that they do have an opportunity to give us some players.
Brendan, are you ahead of where you thought you were going to be at this point?
I think that's fair to say. It's without getting ahead of ourselves. You hope for certain things, and you hope for players to take the next step. Current NHL players, and then you hope your prospects develop. Sheldon Keefe and his staff and Kyle Dubas have done such a great job with the Marlies. Some of the players that we have playing throughout Europe and the CHL and college hockey. It's impossible for them all to hit, but we certainly have exactly what you would want, which is prospects. And the key for them is just having the ability to, when they get to the next step, elevate their game. And so I think we know we're just at the beginning of this process, but it would be fair to say that we feel we're a little bit ahead of where we thought we might be.
What's the most important thing you think you guys accomplished this season?
I think that the way that we are perceived by our city, by the rest of the NHL, and even amongst ourselves, I think that the players changed the way that the Maple Leafs are perceived. I think that they worked hard. The culture, the attitude, in my opinion, is a complete 180 from where we were at this time last year. And I think that they've shown that Toronto is a great place to play. It can be a safe place to play, and that the fans, they get it and they understand this. Not only do they understand it, but they support it. They went out this year, and look, we ended up 30th, but with the way that they worked and with the way that they prepared, our fans were very supportive of our team.
You kind of touched on it there, but how much does it mean to you that this year there's a lot less off-ice drama and incidents that we maybe saw last year that were a bit of a distraction?
Well, I think that goes in line with just one of the, in my mind, in some ways, Mike brought discipline, structure, accountability, culture change on the ice, and Lou was responsible in many ways of fixing that off the ice as well. And the players wanted it as well. Like, it's one thing to have a coach and a general manager to show you the way and guide you, but the players are the ones that get the credit for doing the work. And nobody wanted a repeat of last year. And so the guys that are here right now, and the guys that finished the season with us, whether they're players who have played here for a few years or guys who came in on a one-year deal, we thank them today for the work that they put in this year. And this is really about building a foundation that they want to be proud of. And I think that the players, in many sense, bought into the whole idea of building that foundation the right way.
What did Nazem Kadri prove to you this season?
Well, I think the biggest thing that Nazem proved was that he could play for Mike Babcock. And I think that he's got a big fan in Mike Babcock. He's an extremely competitive person, shows a willingness to play at both ends of the ice. So it's important for him now to keep developing. And that is, he is now on a team where he's not the young guy anymore. He's expected to be a presence and a veteran. And I think that he likes that, and I think he wants to embrace that.
You provide a sense of ownership for players like Jake and Morgan that began maybe last spring, moving forward, and these guys have just moved with it in terms of a leadership role?
Well, I'll give the credit to Mike Babcock and his coaching staff for that. I think that he's a great teacher. He's a great coach. But I think one of the things he's also done is and he has a bit of a saying. He has a saying that he has in his dressing room about let's catch them doing it right. So what's very big on him is giving confidence to his players, and you've got to show them what they're doing wrong, and you have to show them where they need to make corrections. But then you have to also show them when they're doing it right. And I think Mike did a great job with some of our players this year of giving them that confidence that hockey is a game of mistakes, and they're always going to make mistakes. It's how can you limit them and how can you learn from them?
How important is it to get a captain in place? Is there a timeline in your mind when you'd like to have them?
No timeline.
What are you looking for in the next?
A good leader. Leadership.
Yeah. What sort of progression have you seen from Rielly this season?
I think Jake had Morgan. I thought Morgan had Jake did too, but
Yeah.
I think Morgan really had a year of growth for us, and I think you just saw Mike gave him tougher minutes from the very beginning of the season, and you just saw his confidence grow from the very beginning throughout the season. So unlimited potential for him, and we're very pleased with him. And he logged a lot of difficult minutes this year, and he accepted that challenge well.
How do you assess where the goaltending is right now for the franchise?
Well, I think that there obviously it was up and down throughout the year. I think that you look at a guy like Jonathan, I think that he finished strongly. But that's one of the areas that we've said to all of our players. Now you've got to have an NHL summer, and you've got to come back and ready to play. And we're going to have some people pushing and challenging.
If the Marlies have a long run, what does that do? Do you think? How does that help the young guys?
Well, anytime you can have success in the playoffs in any league, you want that for your players that are, in your system. Because winning is something that you learn how to do, and you get into a habit of doing. You learn, and it's something you have to learn by doing. And there are just some guys that get in the habit of feeling like they're entitled to play till June, and that they're expecting themselves to play into May and June every year. And then there are other guys that expect their season to end in April. So we want more and more guys to have that sort of expectation that the season extends, and and those lessons are usually learned. If they're not in the NHL yet, they're learned in the playoffs.
Does your strategy when it comes to free agency change versus what it was last year? And do you expect to be pretty active, or is it too early to even?
Too early to say.
Yeah. Last question, guys. How is the patience going? Mike seems pretty excited. He says there's still pain to come, but they're going to get pretty fast. How's that going?
I think that the big takeaway that we had today was that we're all very confident where we're going, and that the ship has been turned in the right direction. Now it's just a matter of at what point do we arrive. And so that changes day to day, week to week, year to year. There are things that will pop up that will make you feel like it's going to slow you down a bit, and things that will pop up that make you feel like it'll speed up a bit. But at the end of the day, what's most important is that we're all confident where we're going, that we'll eventually get there.